Right, so here I am at the St. Nicholas Abbey, and we are going to do this train ride. First time here for the train ride, so it should be exciting seeing the East Coast from the train. You ready? It's a beautiful area. It's very windy up here. Woo, windy and a temperature of about 26 degrees. Uh, there is the train over there. There's Hamburg and his family going to get on the train.
Shout us the ticket.
Woo! Toot toot!
Nee, du hast ja schon eine. Ja und? Ist das wurscht?
It's on a smaller scale. With all the big water tanks overhead and stuff.
We are getting ready to board.
In the back?
It is of course my duty to share some safety protocols with you. Front and rear of each coach, ladies and gentlemen, we have balconies. You can of course come and stand in the balcony area, ladies and gentlemen, so as to take in some of the view that we have here at St. Nicholas Abbey. So for those of you turning on board, they can join you as well, of course. They can stand and they can hold on to the carriages, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to the railings provided to ensure that they are safe and secure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is no eating and or drinking inside of our carriages, with of course the exception of water. Now, our firemen will be using coal and wood to fire us to and from our destinations. This of course means from time to time we will have some ash or embers blowing through the carriages. On the event, of course, you do see the ash blowing, please do not look in its direction. If it gets into your eyes, it is very uncomfortable. However, if it gets on your clothing, you can of course simply dust it off. It is of course a part of that steam locomotive experience. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, when we get to Cherry Tree Hill, our locomotive, Winston, will sit on a turntable at Cherry Tree Hill. It is of course at this time our locomotive will be pushed around on the turntable by our firemen. However, we need to get our firemen some volunteers. So if any of you are in fact interested in assisting our firemen with of course safely turning the locomotive around on the turntable, you can volunteer to do so. After which the locomotive will then be recoupled to the carriages. The front will become the back will become the front, and of course the middle carriage, ladies and gentlemen, shall remain the middle carriage. You get a chance to go to the outside as well, taking some of the view from Cherry Tree Hill, overlooking the eastern coast of the island of Barbados at 700 and about 50 feet above sea level. We should have a few vendors up there as well, so you could purchase your arts and crafts and so on if you desire. We do spend around 15 minutes, give or take, there at Cherry Tree Hill. We share some history with you of the original railway, and then it's also that we shall return to the Abbey. Now for those of you, you're wearing the yellow armbands. This morning, you're going to the Great House Tour, ladies and gentlemen. That is your stop. When you come down, you're getting off at the croquet lawn by the bronze horse statue, and you're going across the lawn to 370 years of history on our Great House, our museum, and so on. For those of you, of course, just doing the train services with us, we will stop here before we make our way down here at our penultimate stop from Cherry Tree Hill. You're, of course, wearing fluorescent green armbands. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just
Getting ready to go. Here we are.
from our destination, so I will be sharing some history and some general information with you. Now we're rating here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you look to your left, our first point of interest, the white building beyond the trees, that is our great house. It is the oldest building on the island, second after Draxall Plantation. And both plantations, this and Draxall, are known as Jacobean style mansions. There are actually 2 or 3 left in the There are 2 or 3 left in the English speaking Western Hemisphere. We have, as I said, we have Draxall, we have this, and we have one in Virginia known as the Bacon Castle. So, ladies and gentlemen, to your right we have a man-made lake. Mystic sharks, glasslet, snapping turtles, coins and so on. Look at our lake here, ladies and gentlemen. It is made up of 1 million to about 2 million gallons of water. From time to time, however, we do have the mallard ducks, the mohens, ladies and gentlemen, and the black-bellied whistling crab that come to take a swim in our lake. Come to take a swim in our lake, ladies and gentlemen, from time to time. Ladies and gentlemen, all this makes up a small percentage of the about 450 acres that is St. Nicholas Abbey. Ladies and gentlemen. And it was all first founded in 1650 by Colonel Benjamin Barringer and the Barringer family. Now, Colonel Barringer was then poisoned in Spikestone in 1661 after having an argument with his wife Margaret. Ladies and gentlemen. He completed the Great House in 1658. So he was poisoned by John Yeaman. John Yeaman was a landowner in Barbados from as early as 1637, and he actually owned Greenland Plantation, which still is downhill next door from us here at the Abbey. Now, 10 weeks after Yeaman poisoned Barringer, Yeaman married Barringer's ex-wife, Margaret, and then they fled to North Carolina together. They would say North Carolina, ladies and gentlemen, where he would then become Sir John Yeaman. He was knighted by King Charles II in the mid-1660s, ladies and gentlemen, and then he would subsequently be given about 4,000 acres of land, so we're told. By 1672, they said that he was given governorship of North Carolina. However, 2 years later, he would have become gravely ill, and he would subsequently pass away when he returned to the island of Barbados. Granddaughter of Barringer would turn around and change the name of the plantation when she was married in an attempt to disassociate the plantation from some of its former history. We're making the first major left turn. We're going to Cherry Tree Hill. I want you to look to your right, and in doing so, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see a red polished flat with spikes on the outside and teeth on the inside. This is known as an achote plant. Now, the achote plant, ladies and gentlemen, is usually found in Central America. Well, of course, wider parts of the region as well. Now, the powder that you get from them, that comes from the seeds on the inside, is known as annatto powder, or some call it annatto spice. It becomes a very lovely red dye as well. You can use it for dyeing clothing. You can use it for your face painting. You can use it for your cooking as well. We're taking away through our first of 4 cuttings. Each of our cuttings here at St. Nicholas Abbey, they were excavated using modern equipment. We have our diggers, our rippers, so on the original railway. We had a different method. We used dynamite and we used gunpowder. Ladies and gentlemen, we're making our way through what is known as Poor's Alley on the original maps of this plantation. This plantation has some pretty interesting names, and if you are just happened, West African green monkey they're taking to eat, ladies and gentlemen. That's so it there. West African green monkey, of course. Like many things, they were imported from Africa, ladies and gentlemen. West Africa, that is, in the 1600s. Royal palm trees there to the top right of the gully area, Roystone Rega, as they're known scientifically. Now, the royal palms are a staple of plantations in the West Indies, and unlike the other palms that are used for their palm oil or that are used for their coconuts, ladies and gentlemen, these are oftentimes used as an ornament. Not a symbol, if you will. And that's why in modern Barbados you'll still find them lining the roadways that led you to old brick houses, chances are. However, we also happen to use them in gated communities here as well. As I said before, they're used as status symbols. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our third cutting. It's our highest one, and coincidentally our longest as well, at about maybe 150 to 200 meters in length. This is our highest, longest cutting, and at its highest point it's about 30 feet. Then we excavated this using modern equipment. We have our diggers, our rippers, and so on and so forth. Our longest cutting, however, was on the original railway at maybe a mile in length and 80 feet in depth. It's called concept cutting. It was from the parish of St. Philip into the parish of St. John. And you can actually see the cutting from the top of Cherry Tree Hill in the distance. If you look at the distance, it's somewhere out there. However, you can get a much closer perspective from behind St. John's Parish Church. Two quarries. Major quarries to your left there. Shallow one to your right. Cut rock from the major quarry was used to build a lot of the buildings we have here at St. Nicholas. We plan to, however, turn it into an amphitheatre in the future. We will host lectures, weddings, functions, and so much more. And we also plan to build a bridge over Mahogany Avenue. This bridge you see is going at 2 kilometers. So it's going over the Hardy Hill. We also plan to build some eco lodges along the route as well. On the original route, on the original railway, had us up close. 24 miles to the track. 19. And 12 train stations. Starting in Bridgetown Street in Bridgetown and ending all the way in the parish of St. Andrew. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have mahogany trees in abundance at what is known as Mahogany Avenue. Next to us, to our right. But the mahogany tree is not indigenous to the islands. They were in fact imported from Jamaica in the 1750s and 60s. Land of wood and water, of course. They're known as Swatania macrophylla, or some would call them the big leaf, or in some circles the small leaf mahogany. Coincidentally, ladies and gentlemen, the carriage is made of mahogany wood and designed by the owner of the abbey, Mr. Larry Warren. And of course, due to their introduction and the impressive nature of the mahogany trees, they've all but taken over Cherry Tree Hill, and thus we only have a few number of cherry trees, one of which is directly next to us, coincidentally embedded within the mahogany tree itself. And here we are. Welcome to the parish of St. Andrew. Welcome to Cherry Tree Hill. First orders of business, the application of the handbrakes to the front of the frontmost carriage and to the rear of the rearmost carriages. Then and only then will you first be allowed to disembark the carriages.
Turn the train around, re-hook it up in front, and then go back.
You can volunteer to do so, ladies and gentlemen. You can assist on fire. If you would like, you take your own point or so of you. We're going to wait at the top of the stairs, wait at the top of the stairs, gentlemen. Do not go down this way. We're going to open the gate to the outside as well. As you can see, we have some vendors there selling all manner of arts and crafts and so on. You're going to go and select the vendors if you desire to spend over 15 minutes here. So our volunteers, you can make your way down at this time.
This is Cherry Tree Hill. We've been here on many occasions before. time I've been on the train. What you're seeing ahead of me is the east coast of the island. That's the eastern seaboard. Down there is the village you see, and down there is Shorey Village, St. Andrew. And the mountains are the Scotland district. It's a very hazy day today. So a little bit of haziness and visibility, but that is the east coast of Barbados and what we call the Scotland districts, where you see the mountains are, and some communities in St. Andrew, Shorey Village, and some other villages. That is the Atlantic Ocean. It's very windy up here, Atlantic breezes. There's a lot of people on Cherry Tree Hill as usual. It's a beautiful place to come. It's one of the most visited spots for tourists when they come to the island, whether by the ship or their land. There's my guy Hamburg. They were taking photos. And where's his mother? His mother there in the black pants. Right there. And there's his wife and the son. And the baby. So today is very windy up here, as is usual around this time of the year. I am trying to hold my camera as steady as I can. Not yet. Not yet.
Hey ladies, kommt mal mit nach Hause, Foto mit. Come inside on the left, everything is here is pretty hot, okay? With the baby, we're gonna have to be quick because it's pretty warm in here, okay? Okay, es ist sehr heiß.
This is the whistle. This is the whistle. Yes, that's it. Yes, it is, yes. I'm gonna see if you can tone it down a little.
If you want to follow my history, I'll use this map for reference. So.
If you pull it just a bit, it's not too loud. If you just give it a little.
Why did they choose to build
So feel free if anyone wants to.
We're sending you the train driver?
I'm the fireman.
The fireman.
I'm the fireman. I'm the guy you don't call if your house on fire.
Eh.
Because I just keep the flames built.
Eh.
There is no Wi-Fi.
Oh yes.
There are no air conditioners or electric fans. Which part of Barbados
Gotta
would
give it a
you
little
choose
yank.
to stay?
Oh yeah.
Anyone?
Baby's just there like, what's going on?
Concert bed? Why concert bed?
Love it there.
I like that one, but you can't argue with him. He says he loves it there. Okay, it's because this is the windward side of the island, but you're right, concept based on
I
the
use
east
coal
coast.
that we get from Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and I also use wood, which are fallen mahogany branches, because we do have a policy of
Now
not
listen, if you are from the city,
fallen mahogany branches, along with the casuarina tree. We use the branches from the casuarina tree as well. This is mahogany, yes. We have some of the earliest mahogany trees planted on the island here on this property. Oh yes, we planted back in the 1720s. Oh yes, oh yes. Oh yes, feel free. Yes, of course. Mama, go inside.
the Esquire and the Beach Mountain Hotel in Tempe, and the oldest operating hotel in Barbados is? Let's you know, guess what the oldest operating hotel in Barbados is? The Rock House. 1830.
That is very good.
So let's go for a train ride. We're going to catch the train from historic Bridgetown to beautiful Bathsheba. Norman Isles are just above that.
Flipping.
On its journey east to Royal Station.
One swipe.
Into the valley. Okay, so once we left Bridgetown behind us, what did the train encounter in terms of scenery? What would the scenery have been like?
Yeah, I got to pull the horn.
Yes, this is Winston, 96 years old, 7 this year.
Winston.
Oh yes.
It looks nice though, like it repainted and stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. Most of the work got done here in Barbados, where me and Michael, along with a few other engineers, we installed some of the tubes on the inside of the boiler.
Yeah.
We dealt with a lot of the fittings here on the front, and you see here.
Uh-huh.
Yes, a few work. It still leaks, but it's not that bad, you know.
The steam.
Oh yes.
And we are speaking to
My name is Sean Carter. I'm the fireman on board Jekyll 5 at the Stv.Nic Abbey, Heritage Railway. Oh yes, I've been a fireman for about a year now. Oh yes, and I've been loving it. Oh yes, I started off doing maintenance where I worked along with the guys. They came in from England, and we laid down the tracks. And as time went by, I progressed now to being a junior engineer on board the locomotive. Yes.
wonderful. From here now is you're going to be driving the train.
Oh yes, hopefully one day. Don't let the driver here.
Nice meeting you,
Oh
Winston.
yes, nice meeting you. All right.
That they're hardworking and loving and all blah blah blah, and then he stopped half the time. And the other half the time we call them what? Jack. Good. So now you understand why the sugar industry helped build the railway. They helped fund the construction of the railway. So look at the names of the train stations: the Bell, Buckley, Windsor, Carrington, Sunbury, Bushy Park, and Three Houses. These were all plantations and sugar factories. So if you wanted to catch the train, you just look for the chimney and go into the factory, and there's the train station. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to forget sugar a minute. Between Three Houses and Bath is an 80-foot cliff called Concept Point, and the train is heading towards it. Now, if you have a chance, I'm telling you, go to St. John's Parish Church. You see the view we have here? It's just as good. In fact, it's more panoramic, and best yet, it's free. But I expect you'll leave a donation, a little something for the church. But if you go into the graveyard and you look over the cliff, you'll see Concept Point, and it looks strange because someone's taken a slice out of it. That slice of rock missing is the dreaded concept cutting. It took them 3 years of backbreaking work. Well, they did have dynamite, but still, hand work. A lot of hand work. And concept cutting finally opened in 1883. That allowed the train to get down off the cliff and onto the east coast. When it opened, it was the steepest narrow gauge line ever laid. Now, getting down the hill was one challenge. At that time, trains had very primitive brakes in the 1860s and 70s. You know what brakes on a train were? You had a guy doing this. That was it. And you hope the train stopped. Until a guy named George Westinghouse, remember that name. You see his name on light bulbs and cheap appliances today. He invented air brakes. So you can thank him the next time you see a tractor trailer or a train coming to a stop safely. You see these rubber hoses between the coaches? This technology, the word that you'll encounter on the plantations, do you know what a puncheon is? A puncheon is a barrel, but it's huge. It's a huge lack of money, lack of funding, a lack of foresight. It ended public transportation until 1955. And the buses would not even reach out here where the train used to run until 1966. If you like railway history like me, please go to Bathsheba. If you don't like railway history, please go to Bathsheba. Bathsheba pretty. But there's a lot of railway history there too. You can see all the old railway hotels. You can see the Atlantis Inn. And then on your right, you pass the old train station, which is now called Dinah's Rum Shop. Yeah, like, you know the song, Someone's in the Kitchen with Dinah? The trains, yeah, anyway. Anyhow, then you pass the roundhouse on your left. And you pass the old Edgewater Inn on your left. And you get to the Joes River train bridge. Joes River train bridge is two 40-foot cobblestone piers with a deck. And it's been rebuilt, it's repaired now. And when you stand up on that bridge, to your left, you can watch the river coming down through the rocks. It's really beautiful. And then to the right, you get a panoramic view of the Bay of Bathsheba as the river spills out into the sea. It really gives you a sense of not only the exotic atmosphere and that ambient scenery that drew the Victorians to the East Coast, but also the incredible amount of engineering it took to make this railway happen. So if you have a chance, put that down on your to-do list. You've got Bathsheba, Joes River Train Bridge, and the St. John's Parish Church. So hopefully you all get a chance to see some of these wonderful sights. Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you. All right.
Yes.